for a fun Saturday night. I've never brought home an ATM, by the way. I can say that right now. We are in a government building. I would not make my flight home. So offline, online apps. I mean, we can go about that. You guys can look at that on your own. So the evolution of SOME, social media, I call it the devolution. De-evolution. It's a polite way to say that word. But first came the applications, right? They got hacked a lot. And then they built this like hard outer shell around them. But you know what happened? They took away functionality. Grumble, 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 grumble. People got mad. Don't you dare take my functionality away. Arr. So they built APIs. It's like those of you that have ever managed firewalls, somebody says, but it's just need a pinhole that I can then attach a fire hose to. So these APIs then had third parties that wrote hooks into them. All right, I'm going to give away a sticker now. Whoever can guess what the next slide looks like.
Swiss cheese.
Pretty much, yeah, because that happened. Here you go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Or sticker. Right? So, I mean, look, why go hacking at Facebook when I can build an app that does something evil like steal all your Facebook information that you even put private and make it a game called Farmville that goes viral because you market the heck out of it and it's fun. And Yoville, that's the one I was thinking of earlier, Yoville, right? Everybody was on Yoville. I had people like IMing me saying, this version, I got to get off this version of Linux. It doesn't support Yoville. This Flash doesn't support Yoville. Like, you're a Linux guy. Really? So rather than hack the app, we're not going to hack the interface anymore. We're just going to build a legal plugin that does something evil using the legal interface to the hardened application. Let's apply that to where you guys work. Right? Over the last 10 years or so, we have firewalls. If you don't, just nod anyway, because it'll make me feel much better. We have firewalls. Maybe some of us have even figured out the whole antivirus thing. I mean, we may patch a server every once in a while. I mean, if we're really good, we've got permissions. This idea of least privilege may be existent. And then we build a web service to connect to our third party and leave it wide open. Ta-da! The sad thing is some of you guys are nodding your head like, yeah, I have that. It's called my ERP system. Anyway, so some attacks via SOME were via extension. Facebook is still fighting worms, and that stupid coup-based worm won't go away. Why? Because it lives in, not inside Facebook, it lives in attachments to Facebook. And you can't throw those away because people will go AWOL on you. They will go crazy because you've taken away Farmville. They can't buy they can't harvest their crops at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when they should be working. Boy howdy. So they're attacking via extensions. Twitter API keeps getting used, abused, worms and bots and Trojans and spyware, not because they have a really bad idea, but it's because they're written by people that just fundamentally don't care or don't know better. When you go to Adobe's page describes how crossdomain.xml works, and the example they use has an asterisk, what do you think every developer that's ever written the crossdomain.xml file is going to put? Ta-da! Newsflash! They're going to go with the company-approved example. Now, if you go to their site and search for crossdomain.xml best practices and security, sure, there's a page buried somewhere deep in their blog that says you probably shouldn't do that. But heaven forbid we restrict people from doing anything they ever wanted to do. Why attack hardened resources and sites when we've built these beautiful little tunnels or firewall pinholes directly into their core legally? So at this point, usually people have these like frown faces like, oh crap, why am I even here, right? So what are we going to do about this? And there's really 3 things you can do. And I emphasize this, and we teach classes on this, and you guys will get it, your developers will, and it's okay. Perform all control logic server side. I know you're dying. You're trying to hold a straight face. It's not working. Clueless said, what? You're laughing. No, he's dying over there.
I'm a programmer. You crack a programmer. And my buddy over here is jabbing me about it.
He didn't raise his hand last week. So, all logic needs to live on the server. If it comes to me, I can manipulate it and send back anything I want. There's a company I used to work for a number of years back that did stuff with, oh gosh, how do I explain this without explaining who they are? Large machinery that was very expensive that ran power plants. And the engineers that worked on these things had to be able to go and order spare parts. Well, I mean, these things aren't cheap, right? We're talking $500,000, $1 million POs here. Funny enough, I did a quick audit at the time of the site and realized, it was sending price equals was a parameter in the URI. But I thought, you know what? Nobody, it's 2003. Nobody is this stupid. But I should try anyway. So I took on advice of counsel, I guess I'm not telling the company name, we took a part that was $1.5 million. We subtracted some zeros, and we ended up purchasing it for $1.50. Legally, it went through the system. Now, we actually had to call them and say, please don't ship this, because I think I would have gotten in trouble for that. But I could have set that price to be anything I wanted, right? The server said, here's the price. When you're done checking out, tell me what you're going to pay me. Can I do that in real life, please? I've got a shopping list. Validate all data at the ingress and egress points. So we validate, okay, even our better developers, like our friend in the middle there, no longer going to be throwing me daggers. Like, we validate inbound stuff, right? We validate parameters as they come on the well-written apps. Just nod your head, please. Yeah, absolutely. Right, so we validate inbound stuff. You know what developers always forget to validate outbound stuff? Because, good data in always, or as long as it's not illegal coming in, it can't possibly be illegal leaving. There's a TSA example in there somewhere, but... Read my blog if you really want to see some great TSA things. Build these things called zero trust interfaces. Don't ever assume the thing you're connecting to is going to like you. Imagine, like we've had this discussion about what is the internet, right? The internet is a big, dark, black hole with evil in it, right? You're exposing your company to this big, dark, evil thing. Put a big filter on it. So the evil, nasty things have to be really, really good to get through, right? Seems like common sense, but people just don't seem to grasp that. And don't rely on others. And remember, the user will always choose dancing bears over security. That's the one Schneier quote I will use. So, okay, we're performing control on logic on the server side. You can trust code. You cannot trust code. So you can trust code once it leaves your control, right? Web code can and will be reverse engineered. Push a button, win a prize. Just keep that in the back of your head. Why play the game when you can just push a button, win the prize? It's just so much easier. Remember, the bad guys are lazy. They don't want to go through your entire system. They don't want to exploit an ODay, go through your firewall, exploit your server, erase the logs behind them when they can simply put a very simple SQL statement into your login parameter that pulls your entire database out. It's just that much easier. Never push critical information such as passwords and connection strings to the client. I feel like I've been using this point here since about 98. At some point, people are going to get this. So validate all data, ingress, egress. Validate data as it comes into your application and as it leaves. The as it leaves part tends to start getting difficult because you go, okay, why waste processor cycles validating stuff as it leaves the application?